Deathstroke Inc. issue 7. Matt's the only one who's been, you know.
It hurts to know that we have to read this next month.
It has taken 7 issues for this to finally figure out what it's about.
Oh, okay. Tell us, what's it about?
Is it about something good?
Yeah. So no, I did enjoy this issue. Art by Steven Segovia, which I believe did some of the Deathstroke stuff with Priest. This gives you the origin of Respawn. So of course Slade catches Rose and Respawn coming in, and at first Slade thinks that it's Damian, and he's like, "You got a lot of nerve wearing those colors." He's like, "And the last time you showed up here, I owe you a beating," because they're referencing when they thought that somehow it got leaked. I can't remember exactly in Priest Run that Damian might actually be Slade's son and not Bruce's son.
That was in the Deathstroke versus Batman.
Yeah, and that's where I fell off because it was getting so hard to keep everything straight. So, and Rose is like, "No, you don't understand. It's not Damian," and he pulls off the hood, and it looks like Damian, but mixed with Slade. And Slade's like, "Okay, this is what's going on." And turns out Respawn is a clone of Slade and the All Gold bloodline.
Which did leak, and we all read the leak.
Right, which was just that it was a clone of Slade, right?
Yeah.
Not the added that it's basically.
So this is a little bit more Connor Kent.
Kind of. He's like Damian, right? Where Damian's Wayne and Al Ghul, because that was chosen to be the next heir.
So this is Al Ghul and Wilson's what you're saying.
Yeah, and you come to find out that when now I don't know
many pies.
Yeah. So I don't know how far you guys got into Greg Rucka's Lazarus, right? But
I didn't get too far. I didn't love it. Pete got further than me, I think.
So with Williamson, it very much feels like that's how they're treating Damian, is that Damian was meant to be like, he got all the best tutors to learn how to fight and the learning, and he got the silver spoon because he's a Wayne and an Al Ghul. Well, this Wilson Al Ghul Respawn was kind of just used for parts.
So basically they were like, Wayne's better than Wilson.
Well, because Roz wanted to create an army because he wanted Deathstroke's DNA because of the healing factor and all the other skills, the precognition. But he didn't want to wait for it, right? So he created this other clone. And then anytime Damian got into a scuffle and needed something, an organ or whatever, they would operate on Respawn. And this is why Respawn took a hatred of Damian into the Lazarus tournament. And everything as I'm describing it feels very hokey, but the way that it's handled through the book, that you have Respawn explaining this to Slade, as Slade is setting up his own, he doesn't know if, the Deathstroke Inc. that he's setting up, the secret society, almost feels like it's filling out the gray area, in that on one side you have the heroes, on the other you have the villains, and it's just beyond money. It's almost like you have these people that are just constantly doing whatever they want, and someone needs to hold them accountable. So as Slade tells, or as Respawn's telling the story, gets to the end of it and was like, "Well, I'm sorry for bringing him here. I didn't know this is what it would do to you." And he goes, "No, that's my son. Thank you for reuniting your family." And I was like, "Well, no, what do you mean reunite? I'm not trying to do that. I just thought you should know." And he brings Respawn into the secret society, and Rose takes off, and at the end, Slade brings up Lex, and how a lot of the infrastructure in the secret society came from Luthor, and it brings up the stuff that happened in Batman with Batman Inc. And it ends with Luthor in Melanesia and going to talk to the Legion of Doom, and that Cheetah has tipped them off of what Slade was up to from the earlier issues, and that Slade let Luthor know that he doesn't have his precognitive abilities anymore, and that there's a darkness coming, and that Luthor now lets them know that Slade's vulnerable, everyone's vulnerable because the darkness is coming. So this, at the end of this ties in the Slade stuff and the Luthor stuff into the Great Darkness, or the Darkness Crisis, Dark Crisis, whatever it's called. That's coming.
Dark Crisis, but it's not a hard title.
Darkness Crisis, whatever. It was meant to be the Great Darkness, and then it's taking its own thing. So, I surprisingly really like this issue. I liked this book still doesn't know what it wants to be. It's still just in service to other books. Like, again, this is the Tom Taylor Bendis kind of thing where Williamson's just telling this big story over the books that he's writing. But more closer to Taylor, it's fitting than what Bendis was doing. But whereas Robin had its very own, this is Robin's relationship with Talia and Bruce, and him striving for his own relevancy. Deathstroke is just kind of there. It's almost just the catch-all. But, Respawn recounting his origin and how he wants to bring down Roz and people like him because, they don't care. They don't have to pay the consequences. It's people like Respawn that have to, which fits very much in with what Slade's saying with the Secret Society when he took out Calculator. And it all just fits very well. So I'm, don't know how much longer this book can go, because after Shadow War, it kind of is I guess it depends on how Shadow War ends, right?
Well, we established it had a new writer after Shadow War, right?
I don't remember.
Sure, that
I'm
was
gonna take your word.
last week. There is. Ed Brisson is taking over after Shadow War.
Oh, that's right. What the hell's the game at?
And it's doing that's the one that's doing Deathstroke Year 1 afterwards.
Oh, okay. So it really doesn't matter.
Okay. Interesting.
It's Deathstroke Year 1, so it can just go back and tell Deathstroke's origin. It's not like it ties into anything after Shadow War,
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm gonna do 7.5.
Cool.